I was invited to sing in this rotunda by a local person, György. I was so inspired and touched by this special acoustics. I could feel that it is something I had to come back. At the meantime, I got acquainted with Igor actually in Prague in a conference. It was a voice conference. He's a member of this archaeoakusztikai research group studying the Maltese hypogeum, which I was also fond of. Before I met him, I met Paolo de Bertolis in Turkey, in Istanbul conference of archaeoacoustics, and I invited him to help me to measure it. And we met Paul also in Tomar, then he got also interested in the project. After studying all the historical and art historical approaches to this place, I still had some questions. And the most important questions, I think, which archaeoacoustical approach can add to the investigations of the archaeologists and historians. Why these niches exactly were used here? The Slovakian archaeologists who studied and renovated this rotunda, they say that they tried to recreate the original form. And also very important to mention that during the history there were several reconstructions. As an anthropologist or ethnologist, I made interviews with the local people, and there are several legends in the village about the origin and the mystery of this rotunda.
We're here at the known rotunda in bényi, being round. There are 12 niches, like alcoves. The whole style is Romanesque, yeah, that's it, 11th century, with remains of frescoes, of pictures. The Romanesque architecture is an achievement of architecture from the point of view of resonance. It's typically Christian that a temple has to sound because it's a word of God. The unity of sound is very important, and you feel, I would say, well in a Romanesque church, while a Gothic is a universe. So we are in the chapel of bényi and trying to understand a little about the acoustics. So the first harmonies are rather clear. The duration. To clear in 2 seconds and even more. If you study the resonance of a cave, of a chapel, of a church, of a hall, well, it depends. The best first is the voice and ear, because you have it with you, and the voice can be very, very precise, in changing the pitch, changing the intensity, changing the vowels, so for the overtones. Clearly forward. And you can immediately, I hear it sounds, little higher, little lower, and here it doesn't sound or less, you see, and you can immediately, you know, it's like a smell. I don't know, you have flowers and you smell, and then maybe you could have a chemical analysis of why it smells like this or like that. But first you have to discover the smell with your nose. And you know, a train in perception, the eye and the ear, when it's trained, it's above all machines. Yeah. The advantage of a machine that when it works, it's not tired. So for hours it can, yeah. And then from some precise points of measure, the machine can, if I may say, hear some frequencies that we do not hear. Maybe we feel that we don't clearly, consciously hear. Like dolphins who use and hear very high frequencies. However, our sense of hearing is above all machines in what is our area of hearing, you see. First approach, the anthropological, subtle approach, is necessary. Otherwise, you miss completely. And just to give an example, to progress in the caves, you need echoes. You know, it says echolocation, precisely making echoes, because it's completely dark, or almost. You have little lamps, oil lamps, very small, you know, and torches, but you can use everywhere. So the sound is a way to discover the space. You hear ho ho from that part, or ho ho and nothing in this one. So you know I can go there because there is a space. It sounds. Yeah. So we have C and B flat under.
This particular instance where we are all together here, my approach is first of all to follow how Yegor approaches the space, both for the reason of to gather the data that we find here, you know, with the ears in the space, but also more in general to document how Yegor works and approaches such spaces, because I find it very important that this approach is being preserved.
So this is the C above A.
We have a distributed grid of microphones, currently 12, set up at 2 different vertical heights, which gives sort of diverse and diffused information of what happens in the space when we make sound there. These type of recordings will allow us to enter the space again, also in an artificial environment. You know, it can be a simulation room for research, or also for, you know, artistic expression, like for instance, which is more Eric's area and why he is here.
And then we would like to study the resonance of each of the 12 niches. The main question is about these 12 niches. The entrance is the first on the left.
The archaeoacoustic approach, compared to the historians or the art historians' excavations and studies, could exactly answer this question, whether the niches were, what was it for? So maybe the singing was the main reason for what
yes,
it was.
Yes,
it
you
was
know,
used
and in the liturgy, in the Christian liturgy, actually, the singing is the most important.
Yeah.
Celebration and singing. The space is small. It would be a good way for a choir, 12 person for the choir sitting in these niches, and in the apse you would have the priests, the deacons, or the celebrator, the one who celebrate, and some people in the middle, standing in the middle. Or I think that it could be a chapel, that is a small church, a chapel for some small congregation or for some order. We could think of an order for knights. There are other chapels round, like rotundas, but no one has such niches. So there is clearly an intention, I would say, for celebration of an order, a congregation.
Related to singing?
To sing, to celebrate, yes.
Okay.
Yes. They don't only sing, they pray first. They pray, and of course, prayer goes with singing. When it touches strongly and deeply the body, it goes into the deep levels of consciousness which are needed for a deep prayer.
And St. Augustine said if you sing the prayer, then it doubles the power of praying.